The next match is set for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing in the corner to my right, from Omaha, Nebraska, weighing 251 pounds, Ted Dibiase. And his opponent from Brooklyn, New York, 239 pounds, the unpredictable Johnny Rodz.
Johnny Rodz against Ted Dibiase. Here we go. Rodz in control at the moment against Ted Dibiase. This should be an outstanding match, Bruno. It has everything in it. You've got a lot of speed on a lot of agility. I think pretty much evenly matched.
Well, as you know, as you would see this bout on paper, Rodz against Dibiase, you would figure it to be an action bout, and as soon as that bell rang, the action started, and it's been going real good. So just as you would expect with this bout, it's coming to a reality. They're both very, very good athletes.
If anything, however, I think Dibiase has he's more consistent, wouldn't you say, Bruno? Rodz can be so high, he can look like King Kong on one given occasion and look like nothing on another. He's not all that consistent as compared to Ted Dibiase.
Absolutely true, and that's what makes the Ted Dibiase the outstanding wrestler that he is, because he trains hard and he's always keyed up. He always psychs himself that he's going to go in that ring and he's going to give it everything he's got. He's going to be as good, as sharp as he possibly can. And as a result, I'll tell you, Vince, he's been hurt, feeling-wise, since he lost the title to Patterson.
Oh, wow, did you see that? And Rodz has reason for joy. Let's take another look at it. Here we go. Let's take another look at it now. Whip from one side, and Rodz just boom! Wow, back to live action. Dibiase still on the canvas, but Rodz missing. I'm sorry, Bruno, you were saying about Ted Dibiase and his attitude, I believe.
Well, as I said, after losing, especially after losing the title to Patterson, the manner in which he did, he seems that much more determined to prove to everyone that he was deserving of that title and is still capable of recapturing it if the opportunity ever presents itself. And I think this has given him even more incentive, which he's had always plenty of, and he shows it, in my opinion, every time he steps into that ring. To me, he just looks great and greater and greater all the time. Just a great, great wrestler.
And you take a look at the build, it goes to tell you that that thing about judging a book by its cover is certainly very, very true in many, many instances. And Ted Dibiase, who's a very rugged individual, is not all that impressive looking as far as he's not really all muscled up and everything, Bruno, if you know what I mean. But he can take the punishment.
He can. It's a funny thing about the human body, because I know him. He trains hard. Wow, did you catch that? My gosh, uppercut. Oh, wow. But he trains very, very hard, but some people don't respond like others as far as muscle size. But he's in good shape, and he's so tall. He weighs 250. Actually, it almost doesn't look it because he's so tall. He actually looks lean. But he can take an awful lot and certainly give an awful lot.
Whip to the buckle again, and he's taking it. Oh, except right there. Rodz favoring his elbow now, and if Rodz had landed with that, that would have ended the match in my view. All right, Ed, clipping the jaw. Rodz face first to the buckle. Right back in retaliation, a slug fist, a rake in the face, and Rodz has it in control again. Dibiase now, no, nice reversal. Forearm smash, and Rodz falling down to the ropes, so the canvas begs off a bit. You can't trust Johnny Rodz. He's has a lot of tricks up his sleeves. Right hand, a quick left jab, missed. That one landed clearly. Another one. A right in across the side of it. A drop kick nails Johnny Rodz. But look, just like that, I'll tell you, Rodz is a tough competitor as well. He was down. To come up with that was a scoop, a slam. The elbow down and going down. He did not go for the cover. I don't understand it.
Well, perhaps he felt it. Uh-oh.
Off the rope. Has him rolling. He gets it. Yes. Johnny Rodz and perhaps Bruno Greed got the best of Johnny Rodz. Rodz scooped him, slammed him, followed through with an elbow, did not go for the cover, but yet wanted to go for another scoop slam, I think. That's when he lost the momentum, lost his balance, and then from there, it's curtains for Johnny Rodz. Let's get the official time.
The time of the match, 5 minutes, 1 second, and your winner, Ted Dibiase.
A hard-fought battle all the way, and I think, well, both, there we go, extended hand. I'd like to see this, and I hope Rodz is sincere. I really do. I hope Johnny Rodz is sincere. All right, you'd like to see that. A tough battle all the way. Rodz happy with himself. He should be, because Johnny Rodz almost had Ted Dibiase. Now, Bruno, let's go back and take a look at it.
Well, let's see here. We see he gets Dibiase, throws him to the right. I believe this is where he catches him with the scoop slam. Okay, and as you had mentioned, he didn't even bother to cover him. I think he comes down with an elbow here. Okay, after the elbow, he does not bother to cover him, as you had pointed out, and as he tries to scoop Dibiase for another slam, Dibiase quickly spins behind him, and he throws him to the ropes, follows him, and takes him for a back roll and for a pin. And as you said, Greed got the best of Rodz that time, and it cost him the bout.
Too bad for Johnny Rodz, but there to take the opportunity, Ted Dibiase. We shall return with more wrestling in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Dibiase. You know, Teddy, when you were in there with Johnny Rodz, Vince was saying that how consistent you are in that ring. That every time we see you in that ring, you're always consistent. You're always up for the bout, and you're always really exciting to watch. You're always hungry for that victory. And I'd like to ask you, after that, well, I'll still call it a steal. I always have and always will. That steal of Patterson and taking the title from you in the fashion that he did. Did that have? Is that the reason? Because you're always an exciting guy to watch. You're always full of energy. You always look keyed up for your bouts. But did that really add something to it? Because in perhaps proving to yourself or to all the fans or to Patterson himself that you can go in there with the best and always be consistent in the sense of being in tip-top form at all times and successful in win after win.
Well, Bruno, you hit the nail right on the head, because the highlight of my career was winning the North American heavyweight title. And the biggest setback, the major setback of my career was when it was, as you put it, stolen from me, and I feel like it was stolen from me. But the past is the past. You have to live with setbacks in professional wrestling and all of life. Everybody has setbacks now and then. You have to learn to live with them, to learn from them, and to go on. You're exactly right. Since I lost the title, I've been even more determined to go out and do the best that I can do, and win and win and win and climb back up that ladder. I've been asking for rematches with Pat Patterson. I know that he's been busy chasing Bob Backlund and even asking for matches with you, which I can't blame for the man for that, because he wants to go on too. But while he's chasing you, I'm chasing him, and the first chance I get, I want you back in the ring, Pat Patterson, to prove to you, to myself, and all the wrestling fans in this area that I am a better man.
Well, you know, Teddy, that's great, and I can understand exactly what you're saying and what you're feeling. But you know, against Johnny Rodz, which was a tremendous bout, because Johnny Rodz is such a tough competitor. I see where you didn't get the opportunity, I guess, for your abdominal stretch, which you have been so successful, which you worked on for so long, and you mastered it so well, because it's never failed you. Well, every time you've applied it, it's always been submission. Do you always try to go for it, or in wrestling a guy like Rodz, do you look for any opportunity to get a win rather than lose time or opportunity of a win just waiting for the abdominal stretch?
Well, Bruno, I think you'd agree with me when I say you have to be versatile. Naturally, I would like to apply the abdominal stretch whenever I can, because it has been so successful for me, but you have to take the opportunity when it comes, and if it doesn't present itself, if you just wait for that moment to come, it may never come, as it didn't in this match, and I had to take advantage of what was at hand. And That's why I used the roll-up, and it was successful tonight.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, and the reason why I asked the question, because often people, I know they used to ask me, why didn't you use this particular thing, the backbreaker, and you explained it beautifully. When you're there against an opponent, you can't wait for anything. When something happens, you have to take advantage, because if you don't, that'll be a mistake in your part. The mistake it could be very costly later on. But you know, in meeting a guy like Rodz, that was really a tough battle, because this guy, he's got to be one of the toughest competitors around. He's always in tip-top shape, and when you've been in there with him, you better have been in tip-top shape yourself, or you're really going to be in trouble, because he doesn't let up for a minute, does he?
Exactly. Johnny Rodz is a very tough competitor. He's been around a while. He's got a lot of experience. He's always in shape, and you can't ever underestimate an opponent, because when you start doing that, that's when you start losing.
You know, you take a guy like Rodz who weighs about 235 to 40, and then you see a guy like Monroe weighing 300 pounds, and often people ask, well, you'd rather take on a Rodz than a big guy like, but sometimes that's really been misconstrued, isn't it? Because you take a guy like Rodz who is in shape, he can give you a heck of a lot tougher time than a bigger man who really is in that kind of shape, who really can't move too well.
Exactly. You have to stay in shape, because the better shape you're in, the more advantage you have. And if, you know, just like you said, a bigger man a lot of times won't have the shape and the conditioning and the maneuverability like a man like Johnny Rodz, and a lot of times that smaller, quicker man will give you a lot more problems than a bigger man.
Well, those are my sentiments, you know, because size has been proven over and again that isn't the total answer to success, is it? I mean, it's even like guys like myself and Putski, and I used to be 275, I'm down to about 245. Putski used to be around 280, and he's down to about 235. We're finding, I think, athletes more and more are finding out that weight isn't like we used to think years ago that was the answer to power and the answer to success. It takes speed, stamina, and everything else, right?
Exactly, Bruno. When I was in college playing football, I weighed about 275, and I found out when I became a professional wrestler that if I lost a little of that weight and got in shape, it did me a lot more good.
Teddy, we have no more time. Very nice talking to you. The best of luck, and back to you, Vince.
Thank you, Bruno.
New York City, weighing 239 pounds, it is the unpredictable Johnny Rodz.